Yes, Your Honor. My name is Will Barrett, and joining me today are my co-counsel, Ms. Bella Salate.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning.
And Cheyenne Sims.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
And after the defense introduces themselves, we have just a few things to bring to your attention.
Defense.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Anderson Winch. I'm here for my good friend and colleague, NPS of Varma. Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
And Ms. Brooke Jones.
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
We represent the defense in today's case. The defense came up.
Plaintiff.
Yes, Your Honor. First, we'd like to approve Colorado Rules of Evidence 603 and 615. We swear in all witnesses and sequester them from trial.
Is that okay with you, defense?
Yes, Your Honor. Constructively.
All right, so all witnesses will be sequestered, all constructively sworn.
Yes, Your Honor. Last thing, if you could open that binder and flip to the stipulations tab, we're gonna be looking at stipulation 8.
You can go ahead and get started. Eventually.
Your Honor, stipulation 8, both parties have agreed to waive all relevant objections and objections under Rule 403 to the testimony on both direct and cross-examination of Gene Maloney, Ali Uchida, Umi Darwish, and Nova Stone. And Your Honor, those are the 4 witnesses that will be testifying in this trial.
All right, defense, you agree?
That's our understanding as well, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor, we're ready to proceed.
Defense, do you have anything?
Yes, Your Honor. Just briefly, we inquire as to your preferences in the forum. Would you like us to ask permission before entering the well, approaching the bench, the jury, the witness?
Counsel, you have full permissions for today's case. Just announce what you're doing, whether you're approaching the witness, but all permissions are as open as aliens for. So there you go.
Yes, Your Honor. And if an objection is sustained, should we move to strike or consider a strike?
I would appreciate if you would just try.
Yes, Your Honor. With that, we're ready to go.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. May I please support? Your Honor. Opposing counsel, members of the jury. The defendant took it too far. It's July 20th of last year, and a young man by the name of AJ Maloney is getting ready for work. About 3 years ago, he was hired as a bouncer at a nightclub in town, in Hellfire. So when the time comes, he gets ready for work. He waves bye to his brother. He goes. But you'll learn that those 2 boys didn't know that even a year later, AJ still wouldn't be. That's because that night, as a bouncer, AJ scanned IDs and made sure people weren't getting too rowdy. But out the corner of his eye, he sees an investigative journalist going into a staff-only area, and so he takes care. He takes her out of the bar and shoves her into an alley. But what AJ doesn't know is that he's being watched by a vigilante called the Serpent. What AJ doesn't know is that that serpent is actually the partner of that investigative journalist. And what AJ doesn't know is that he's about to be attacked. So, with his blood boiling, with the defendant seeing that AJ is shoving his girlfriend, he rushes into that alleyway and he punches AJ. So what's the issue? Why are we here today? Well, you'll learn that the defendant didn't stop after 1 punch. He didn't stop after 2 punches. When the defendant decided to stop is when he saw blood dripping down from AJ Maloney's head till he could hear his bones cracking until he lied unconscious in a coma. The defendant went too far. That's why we're here. That's why we're suing the defendant for battery. In order to do this, we have to prove to you a couple of things. We have something called a verdict. What we have to prove to you is that the serpent, the vigilante, was in fact the defendant, and that defendant intended to harm AJ that night. Members of the jury, we're going to prove our verdict. To show you how we're going to prove our verdict, we're going to call 2 witnesses to the stand. First, you're going to hear from the younger brother of AJ, Gene. And because AJ can't introduce himself today, Gene Maloney's going to take the stand and do it. you're gonna learn about the extent of AJ's injuries. And how AJ's actually met the serpent. How Jean's actually met the serpent, and Jean will tell you that the voice from the serpent and the voice from the defendant match perfectly. So that leads us to our second witness, Miss Umi Darwish. Miss Umi Darwish was our ears and eyes and members of the jury. She's gonna walk you through what she saw on July 20th. She's gonna tell you that she saw AJ Maloney exit that. But members of the jury, more importantly, what Umi Darwish is gonna tell you is that she was there the night of the crime. She was there when AJ Maloney was attacked, and when she went to the scene afterwards, there was a mask. She picked up that mask and recognized that it belonged to the serpent. And there was one person that wanted that mask. One person that asked her for it, and that's the defendant. So I want you to ask yourself, why would the defendant want that mask throughout today's trial? Well, it'll be clear, it's because the defendant knew he went too far. The defendant knew that there was gonna be issues. At the end of today's trial, it'll be clear that the defendant was the serpent. The defendant went too far, and that's why we asked you to find the defendant live. Thank you.
Okay, that's.
Yeah, sure. May I proceed? It wasn't him. It's 10:07 p.m. Teddy Mothersbaugh is standing in the alley next to the Hellfire Bar. And on the ground are two men. They're beaten and bloody. At first glance, it looks exactly like the plaintiff just told. But to understand what really happened, we have to go back 5 months. It's 10:02 p.m. And Teddy Mothersbaugh, he's standing across the street from the Hellfire Bar, checking his watch. He's pacing back and forth. He's waiting. In that lounge is his boyfriend, Ali Uchida. Ali Uchida, he's an investigative journalist. He's there pursuing a story, and he was supposed to be out by 10 p.m. He's late, and he's never late. Teddy Mothersbaugh, he checks his watch again, and that's when he hears a bang in the alley. He looks up and he sees his boyfriend getting thrown against the wall. He watches as the bouncer takes back a fist and cocks. Teddy Mothersbaugh, he freezes, he panics, he doesn't know what to do. As he's watching, he sees a masked vigilante come out of the shadow. He watches as someone punches that bouncer, beats that bouncer, and keeps going. He watches as that masked vigilante takes it to fall. By the time that Teddy Mothersbaugh crosses that street and gets to that alley, so those people are already beaten. That masked vigilante wasn't Teddy Mothersbaugh. And that's a problem for the plaintiff. Because when they decided to sue my client for battery, they took on a burden. They have to show you today by a preponderance of the evidence, that means more likely true than not, that it was Teddy Mothersbaugh and no one else who committed the battery on AJ. And that's a burden they won't be able to. Now, we don't have a burden as the defense, but we're still going to call 2 witnesses, 2 eyewitnesses, 2 people who were there on the scene. And independent, both of those people will tell that they saw Teddy Mothersbaugh and they saw someone. That the person attacking that bouncer, it wasn't him. It wasn't Teddy Mothersbaugh. So walk through. First, you're going to hear from Ali Uchida, the Teddy Mothersbaugh's boyfriend. And he'll tell you about that. He'll tell you how he went to that lounge to pursue his story. He'll tell you how the bouncer caught him and threw him out into the alley. You're the first time. But that's when someone came and saved you. You'll hear about that mass vigilante. But you'll also hear Mr. Uchida say that that mass vigilante, it wasn't his boyfriend Teddy Mother. No, his boyfriend Teddy Mother's father, he was across the street. And that brings us to our second, a man named Nova Stone, who was in the lounge. You'll hear that Mr. Stone, well, he left. And when he walked out, he saw Teddy Mothersbaugh on the other side of the street. And then, when he looked across the way, he saw that masked vigilante. You'll hear he saw two people now, Teddy Mothersbaugh and Mr. And they weren't the same. These members of the jury, it wasn't Teddy Mothersbaugh. See, when something like this happens, when there's a trap, I want to make it clear we all feel for Mr. Maloney and his family and everyone else. But what the law tells us is that we can't just point the finger at who it's convenient to point. We have to make sure it's the right person. We have to make sure the plaintiff meets their purpose. We can't let the tragedy cloud the truth. So today, pay attention to who is actually seen in that. You members of the jury, it wasn't him. That's why we're going to ask you to find him out lying. Thank you.
Plaintiff, do you want to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor, the plaintiff called Gene Maloney.
Whenever you're ready,
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Hi. Please, introduce yourself.
My name is Gene Malone.
Gene, you know why you're here today?
Yeah. My brother, he's in a coma.
Mr. Maloney, who's your brother?
His name's AJ.
Do you know what happened to him?
He worked as a bouncer for this place called the Hellfire Lounge. And last July, on the 20th, he got beaten up pretty bad.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about AJ. Are the two of you close?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got everything I got.
What was life like with AJ growing up?
Not easy. AJ dropped out of college when our parents died. I was super young, so we didn't really have a lot. But AJ was the best big brother I ever could ask for.
Do you still live with him today?
No, I'm in the foster system now. He still hasn't.
Before we talk about exactly what happened, I've got to ask you about a few other things, okay?
Okay.
Do you know who the defendant in this trial is?
Yeah. Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Have you ever met Mr. Mothersbaugh before?
A couple times.
When was the first?
Also last July, on the 5th, he showed up at my apartment with a journalist. He was named Ali Uchida.
What do you remember about Teddy Mothersbaugh from the 5th of July?
Never spoke. Uchida always did that. He asked about my brother and the Hellfire Lab.
you remember anything specific that Ali Uchida asked you that day?
Yeah, at the beginning, he looked at, Mother's Spa. And he asked if I was the one from last night. And he nodded yes.
Gene, you just mentioned that Ali Uchida asked if you were the one from last night. And Mr. Mothersbaugh nodded. Do you remember what you had been doing that previous evening?
I had a run-in with the serpent.
Who's that?
He's this, like, local vigilante kind of guy, sort of independent crime person, you know, wears the whole costume and all that. Pretty popular.
You said you had a run-in with the serpent. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, so my friend and I, we were lighting off fireworks because it was 4th of July. We weren't technically supposed to be doing that, but it was fun. And then he started being kind of stupid because he took out like a bag of drugs, and I was gonna tell him that, you know, he was being stupid. And then that's when the serpent showed up.
What do you remember about the serpent?
He was a big guy. I'd say 6'1"-ish, kind of stocky, wore this dark green costume and a dark green mask.
Gene, do you think you'd recognize a photo of that mask if you were to see it today?
Yeah,
Do you mind opening up that binder in front of you, flipping to exhibit 4? Your Honor, that's in your binder, but I'll sign it. Gene, what are we looking at?
looks like a picture of the mask.
Is that photograph to look fair and accurate?
Yeah.
Same as when you saw that?
Yeah.
Like your father said.
Any corrections?
Without objection, Your Honor.
Exhibit 4.
Gene, do you remember anything that the serpent said to you?
He asked a lot about the Hellfire Lounge. He knew who I was. He asked about my brother. And then he pointed at the drugs that my friend had, and he asked, where'd you get those?
Gene, I want to move now to July 20th. What were you doing that day?
I work at a costume shop. And I was supposed to do the closing shift until 11. But I got a call at 9:45.
Who called?
One of AJ's coworkers.
What did they say?
AJ was attacked by the serpent in an alley outside the Hellfire Lounge.
Gene, what did you do?
I just got there as soon as I could.
What do you remember about the alley when you got there on that night?
It was empty. No one was there, just trash. I saw this. It was a cash box, I think. And there was a lot of blood on it.
Do you remember where you went next?
To the hospital.
Who'd you see there?
My brother, journalist, Ali Uchida, and Betty Mothersbaugh.
Did you speak with Teddy Mothersbaugh that night?
Yeah, he came up to me outside the ER. He asked about Uchida. And he said he was sorry for what happened to my brother.
Gene, did he say anything else?
He pointed at my cup of water. He asked, where'd you get that? And that's when I clicked.
That's when, what?
Teddy Mothersbaugh said Where'd you get that? The same way the serpent did on July 4th.
Can you tell us anything else that you may have noticed about Teddy Mothers while you saw him at the hospital with you?
He was about 6'1", kind of stocky. He had a black eye. He had scratches on his face. But the thing that stuck with me most was that he knew about my brother, what happened to him. Before I even said it.
Gee, did you see your brother that night?
Yeah.
How'd that make you feel?
Wasn't moving, eating everywhere. But a lot of shaking. Your Honor, I know you're good.
Cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. Proceed, Your Honor.
You may.
Good morning, Mr. Bullie.
Hi.
So I want to start with something we can both agree. Love agent, don't
Oh, yeah.
we? So like you mentioned on direct examination, after your parents passed away, the only person you had was agent.
Yep.
So he dropped out of college,
Yeah, he did.
practically raised you himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
So your brother means a lot to
He needs everything.
you. The two of you were inseparable.
Yeah, I need it.
I want to talk about when that changed. As so on July 20th, you got a call from one of AJ's coworkers, didn't
Yeah,
he? He told you that AJ would be beaten up by the servant.
that's what he told me.
You were shocked.
I was scared.
So you ran to that alley, and when you got there, you learned that AJ, he was being taken to the hospital.
Yeah,
You saw blood on the ground of the alley,
there's a lot.
and so you rushed to the hospital to see your brother.
Yeah, I got there as fast as I could.
So when you got there, AJ, he was convulsing. He wasn't even conscious, was
No,
he? You were anxious, you were scared.
yeah,
So that's when Teddy Mother's Law approached him.
yeah, about that.
He said, sorry for what happened to AJ.
Yeah,
And then like you mentioned on direct examination, he pointed at your cup and he said, where'd you get that?
yeah, that's what he said.
And in that moment, it was like a light bulb went on, right? So you realize that Teddy and the serpent, well, they were the same person, true?
Yeah, that's what I figured out.
Well, sir, I want to take a step back and find out if we can see if that's actually true. Because sir, the first time you had a run-in with the serpent, that was July 5th, right? 2024.
Yeah, that's right.
And he busted you because you had some drugs, right?
Yeah, my friend had.
So you got up close and personal with the serpent, right?
Yeah, he was pretty rough, kind of intense kind of guy.
So the very next day, you saw Teddy Mother's fall in your apartment, didn't you?
Yeah, he came by my front door, started, with that the journalist guy.
Yeah.
It was kind of creepy.
So that's right, he was up close and personal with you again, you saw him face to face, didn't you?
Yeah,
And Mr. Maloney, in that moment, you didn't turn to your brother and say, this is the man I saw last night, right?
no, he was at work, so I didn't know what to do, so I was just.
Sir, you didn't call the police and say, I cracked the case, I know who the serpent is, did you?
No, I didn't know what to say, I didn't think they would believe.
Sir, you have exhibit 4 in front of you, right?
Yeah,
Your Honor, I'm now approaching the counsel table to get it cut out. Sir, the only mask that the serpent was wearing the night that you saw him was this, right? This is what he had over his face.
yeah,
So, sir, the very next day when you saw Teddy Motherspaw and he didn't have this, you didn't recognize that it was Teddy, did you? You didn't think Teddy was the serpent then?
no, he didn't have his hood on. No, it just looked different.
Sir, I want to talk about when your mind changed. So when you got to that hospital, like we mentioned earlier, you were nervous, you were worried, and then you saw your brother, true. So the very next day, you got a call from someone named Emerson Rajan, right?
Yeah, it's the guy that my brother worked for.
So Emerson called you up and he said, I think you should go to the police and say that Teddy Motherspaw is the serpent, right?
Yeah, it's what he told me.
Sir, you did just that, true?
Yeah,
And ever since that moment, Emerson, he's been paying for your bills, hasn't he?
I don't know how I would gotten by without that, but yeah,
So not only your bills, he's paying for AJ's medical bills, right?
he is.
Sir, Emerson, the one who told you to go to the police and say that Teddy Motherspaw is the serpent, he's been taking care of you ever since you listened. Isn't that right, Mr. Maloney?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. No further questions, Your Honor.
You have a redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor, I just asked for Mr. Maloney to be excused.
Very much.
So we're gonna take a little pause to do some scoring. Since both of the sympathy witnesses have gone, make sure you fill out the sympathy portion of your. Oh, we haven't.
We have one more.
One more, we'll do that, thank you.
Let's go ahead and call that one strong.
Yes, go.
Your Honor, this time the defense the defense calls Ali Jones.
When you're ready.
That's Your Honor. Good morning, sir. Do you mind introducing yourself to the members of the jury?
Salam, everyone. My name's Ali Uchida.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Uchida?
I'm a journalist. I write for the TMT, the Morocco Times. I've been doing that for the last 12 years.
So how do you get into journalism?
It's nothing crazy, really. As a kid, I always liked writing and history. So growing up, I knew I was going to do one of those things. I just never knew which one. But then when I got to college, I realized I could kind of technically do both with journalism. So I started taking journalism classes, changed my major, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Sir, do you know why you're here today?
It's my boyfriend, Teddy Motherspaw. The both of us were investigating drug rumors at the Hellfire Club, but we got caught. One of the bouncers nearly killed me. And now the owner of that club, Emerson Rajan, is saying that Teddy Motherspaw is some kind of violent vigilante that can't be trusted. That's not true.
Sir, I want to take a step back and start from the beginning. How do you and Ted meet?
Teddy and I, we met at the beach. You know, it was one of the few weeks I had off And so I decided that I was gonna spend some time playing pickup volleyball. Teddy just happened to be there too, so. It was funny because we were the two most competitive in the group, always arguing about the calls that were being made, trash talking. And then somewhere in between the trash talking, it turned into flirting, and by the end of the day, he asked me out on our first date.
How long have the two of you been dating?
Not too long, just a little bit over a year now. But the more I think about it, it's like we've been dating for long.
And Mr. Uchida, what's Teddy like?
Teddy's perfect. I mean, he can be a little stubborn at times, which is a little annoying, but for the most part, he's a friendly, cute guy.
Sir, I want to move on and talk a little bit about you. You mentioned you're in journalism. What kind of work do you do in journalism?
I investigate different stories here in the city, and then I publish articles on what I found.
You work alone.
No, I work with Teddy. The both of us investigate and write together.
Sir, investigating. Is that what you were doing the night of July 20th?
Yes, we were following up on a lead on the story that I was writing.
What was the story about?
It was about the Hellfire Club. We had heard rumors that the owner of the club, Emerson Rajan, was using it as a front to smuggle in drugs and sell them. So that's what we were investigating.
Let's talk a little bit more about that club, sir. When was the first time you went to go investigate?
The first time must have been around July 9. I went on my own to try and see if I could find any evidence of the rumors.
What do you find?
Not too much concrete stuff. But I overheard Emerson talking to one of the employees saying that they were going to get a shipment on July 20th.
Yes, sir, do you know what the shipment was for?
No. Before I could find out anything else, I was caught by one of the bouncers working.
Ever find out who the bouncer was?
Yes. They were wearing a name tag. It said AJ Malone.
What did he do when he saw you?
He grabbed my shoulder, and then he walked me to the back alley and he threw me out of the club.
Did he say anything?
Yes. He looked at me and he said that if he ever saw my face at that club again, that there would be hell to pay.
And Mr. Uchida, did you ever go back to that club to investigate further?
I did. I know I didn't have much to go off of, but if there was going to be some sort of shipment on July 20th, I had to find out what it was about. So that's why I went back that night.
Did you go alone?
No, this time I took Teddy with me. We both went together.
So what happened when you and Kenny got?
We decided to split up. I went back inside the club to continue my investigation, but Teddy, he stayed outside.
So what happened when you went inside the club?
I went inside the club and I started taking photos of the rooms, of crates, everything. But that's also when everything started to go really wrong.
What do you mean?
I was taking photos of stuff when I looked up and I realized that there were two people down the hall that had seen me.
Did you recognize the people who saw you across that hallway, sir?
I did. It was AJ and Emerson.
Say anything?
Emerson, he just started screaming. He said that I was a journalist and that they had to take care of me.
What happened next?
AJ, he just started charging for me. So I grabbed my things and I just started running for the exit. But before I could make it out, he caught up to me.
What do you do next?
He tackled me. He took me to the ground and then he just got on top. And then he just started punching and attacking.
What do you mean when you say that he was attacking you, sir?
he grabbed my arm and he pushed it behind my back and just kept it there. I felt the pop, as he was just shoving it behind my back and then my vision it went white. I tried to crawl out, I tried to escape, but I couldn't feel my body, I couldn't feel my arm. And then the pain, it just all hit me all at once.
What do you do next?
I just screamed for help. I thought he was going to kill me. So I started screaming, but I don't think AJ liked that too, because he grabbed me and then he threw me onto the wall. My hip, it hit the wall, I fell to the ground, and now I couldn't even stand. I couldn't run, I couldn't do anything.
And Mr. Rashida, when did AJ stop attacking?
He did. He kept attacking and attacking, and that was until the serpent showed up and got him off. But shortly after that, I just passed out.
So I want to be clear for the members of the jury. Is Teddy the serpent?
No. No, Teddy's not the vigilante, he's not the serpent.
So can you tell us why you think Teddy is the serpent?
I know Teddy. I mean, we live in the same house, sleep in the same bed. If he was going out at night, I would know. He's not the vigilante.
So when did people start saying that Teddy Mothersbaugh was the serpent?
It was only after we found those drugs in the club. Before that, no one was talking about Teddy being the vigilante, but only after Emerson caught us, that's when he started telling people that Teddy Mothersbaugh was some vigilante.
Thank you, Mr. Rashida. No further questions, Your Honor.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Rashida, good morning.
Good moment.
Now, your stake in this trial is personal, right?
Sure, yes, we're talking about my boy.
That's right. Like you mentioned on direct, the defendant is your boyfriend.
Yes,
Your partner,
that's right.
someone you care very deeply for.
Of course, yes, I love Teddy.
And you're here today hoping to clear his name.
Of course, because he didn't do anything that they're saying that he did.
Because you want to help him.
Yes,
So let's break down some of what you talked about on direct examination, okay?
sure.
I want to start with the serpent. Now, you've actually got a bit of a soft spot for them, right?
Yes, they do good work here. They help fight crime. They've been a good impact in society.
Before July 20th, they had actually helped you personally quite a few times.
That's right. Sometimes when I'm investigating dangerous stuff and get caught and pickled, the serpent, he saves everyone, and he saved me before. So,
He's gotten you out of some jams.
yes, yes.
One thing you've noticed is that the serpent has never shown up to help you out of any jams when your boyfriend's around.
That's right. When Teddy's there, he takes care of most of that stuff. He helps me almost all the time.
You've seen the serpent many times, but never when Teddy was there too.
That's right. That's when we're investigating different things.
Yeah, part of your work, Teddy, he often gets tips on crime, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But he never gets those tips when you're around.
That's not necessarily true. Sometimes we investigate together and find tips together.
But Teddy never gives you any tips on crime that he finds when he's with you. He brings them to you, right?
I'm sorry, what do you mean? He tells me about those tips.
But you're never there when he gets them.
Not always, no. Sometimes we're together and sometimes he finds stuff on his own. Sometimes I find stuff on my own. It depends on what we're investigating.
You mentioned that you went to the Hellfire Lounge for the first time on July the 9th. Do I have that right?
That's when we first started investigating.
You told only one person that you were going to the Hellfire Lounge that day, right?
That's right. The only person I told was Teddy.
You're positive. You told nobody else.
Of course.
But on your way to the Hellfire Lounge, as you were walking in, there off to the side was the serpent.
That's right, the serpent was there.
You don't know how the serpent knew you were gonna be there.
Sure. I didn't think he was there for me. He was all over the city.
But all you know is you just told Ted.
That's right. The only person I told before I started investigating was him.
Sir, Teddy had a name that he used for himself when talking, right?
Maybe sweetheart. We had all of it.
Well, quite a few times Teddy would call himself your silent protector.
Sure, yeah.
That was the name he used for himself.
That's right. When we investigated together, he liked to keep me safe. He said he'd always watch over.
When you woke up after what happened on July 20th, you asked Teddy what happened.
That's right. I'd woken up from the hospital after the attack. And I was dazed. I wasn't sure what had happened, how I'd gotten there, so I asked him.
The first thing that Teddy told you was that your silent protector had saved you.
That's what he said. Yes, he was at the hospital with me. I imagine he must have helped me get there.
But I just want to be clear, it wasn't Teddy Mothersbaugh who saved you from AJ Maloney's attack.
No, that was the seventh.
He called the serpent your silent protector too.
Sure, yeah, yes, he was everyone's silent protector. He was the guardian angel of the city.
When you went to the Hellfire Lounge on July 9th, you mentioned that AJ threw you out of the club, right?
He did.
You told Teddy this.
I did. After I finished my investigation that day, I filled in Teddy on what I found and what had happened.
Teddy got angry.
He did.
Teddy told you if anybody ever put their hands on you like that again, he was gonna kill them.
Yeah, he was upset. Obviously, he didn't literally mean it, but that's what he said.
From July 9th onward, Teddy shifted the majority of his investigation to AJ Malone.
That's not entirely true. We started investigating the club and he took care of the employees. He did background checks on all of them, including agent.
But his specific focus was on AJ Malone.
The employees and agent, yes.
AJ specific.
At one point, yes, he was one of the employers.
He took photos of him,
He did,
more photos than any other employee.
sure.
Did more research on AJ than any other employee.
That's right. AJ was the bouncer of the club. He was the head muscle.
I want to talk about one more thing, Mr. Uchida. I'd like to contextualize everything that you've told us, okay?
Sure.
You mentioned that you're a writer for TMT, right?
I am.
You're successful.
Yes.
You make good money.
The writers get paid okay.
Sir, you got to this point in your career by lying, didn't you?
No.
Is it your testimony that you didn't get this far in your career by lying?
At TMT, yes. I've never lied for TMT.
But you got to TMT by lying, didn't you?
What do you mean?
Earlier in your career, you were writing stories for some more tabloid-like news organization.
Sure, yeah, local magazines, that's how it started.
To make your stories more interesting, you spun facts.
Sure, the gossip in the city about the celebrities, the Kardashians, Tom Cruise, yeah.
You made things up.
I exaggerated some of the details so people would start reading the magazine. That was wrong.
You made things up.
If that's how you want to put it, sure.
That's how you put it.
Sure.
Conjured stories that didn't exist.
Exaggerated details, yes.
Sir, your philosophy your entire career, even today, has been that suffering sells.
That's right, that's how the news works. People pay attention to the bad that's happening, not the good.
And as of today, you've already been capitalizing on your suffering, haven't you?
What do you mean?
How many articles have you written about what happened to you on July 20th?
I've written about 3 or 4 now, talking about what happened with the serpent and the club.
How many talk shows have you been on?
A couple.
Sir, you claim that your suffering has made you the most popular journalist in Morocco.
As of now, yes, but because of the information I was able to find.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
A redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor, we just have to give it to the excuse. And Your Honor, with that, I believe we have the small break.
Yes, we're gonna take a second to fill out the ballot.
Is that a full break for everybody?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you guys can take a little break and then come back in like 5
Okay,
minutes.
yeah, come back in 5 minutes, 10:21. Is everyone back?
Yes, Your Honor, defense is back.
That, plaintiff, again. Second witness.
Yes, Your Honor, the plaintiff calls Ms. Bullie Darwish to the stand. May I proceed?
You may.
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Oh, hello to you too. My name is Bullie Darwish.
What do you do for a living?
Well, for a living, I perform. I craft. I act. Some would call me an artist. Others would call me a DoorDash driver.
What kind of art do you do?
Well, I'm gonna hold you right there because I don't do art. I open my heart, I carve it out, and I show everybody.
You carve your heart out and show everyone. Where do you do that?
Well, I used to do it on the sidewalk outside the Trader Joe's on 10th, but then they got a new assistant manager, Glenn. She's this very vindictive 16-year-old, so I had to move to the sidewalk outside the Hellfire Lounge.
What's the Hellfire Lounge?
The Hellfire Lounge is like it's one of the seedier nightclubs, I guess you could call it. It's for like C-list celebrities. You won't see Kim Kardashian there, but you might see Chloe.
Were you working there on July 20th of 2024?
Oh, yeah, I was.
What kind of carving your heart out performance were you doing that for?
So what kind of art? And well, actually, I got this idea when I was in New York. I was walking in Times Square with my youngest daughter, and we see this guy dressed in this Elmo costume. And he says, well, do you want to take a picture with Elmo? And my daughter looks up with these big blue eyes and she says, Mommy, can you please take a picture with Elmo? So she climbs to his arms, he takes a picture, and then Elmo then will request me $15. So after that, I thought, actually it's a pretty good job. So that's what I was doing July 20th.
You were dressed up as Elmo outside the Hellfire Lounge?
Oh, no, don't be ridiculous. I would never dress as Elmo. Don't have the figure. I was dressed as the serpent.
What's the serpent?
The serpent, he's the Tower City vigilante. He's kind of like a local hero. I've been saying Tower City needs a vigilante ever since Gary Busey moved here. Can't just roam the streets, that's not allowed, that's ridiculous.
Have you seen it before?
Gary Busey? No, thank God.
No, not Gary Busey, the serpent. Have you seen the serpent before?
Oh, yeah, I saw the serpent a couple of times, actually.
When was the most recent time you remember seeing the serpent?
The most recent time was about a year ago, July 20th, 2024.
So I want to walk through what exactly you saw that day. Can you tell the members of the jury when you got to Hellfire Lounge?
Sure. I got there, right after I dropped my youngest off with her father, so around like 5 p.m.
What time did other people start coming to the club?
Well, after sunset, some of our regulars started to arrive, so, guy with sunglasses, guy with one really long fingernail, Teddy Mother's boy, and a guy who smells like ramen noodles, all the heavy hitters.
Was
What's
he
the amount of lack of foundation of this time, maybe her?
Sure.
Just to how she knows Teddy Mother's well, we'd like that record, we'd like that.
Do you have a response?
Yes, Your Honor, we're about to lay that foundation.
All right, then let's just, overrule.
Yes, Your Honor.
Was he alone?
No, he was with, his boyfriend, Ali Uchida, this like real sweet guy.
Do you know the two of them, Ali Uchida and Teddy Mothersbaugh?
Yeah, I met them before. I used to work this job, I was giving tips to the cops. And then Ali and Teddy sort of gave tips to the people I was giving tips to. So I guess they got me fired, yeah.
Where did you see Teddy Mothersbaugh and Ali Uchida at Hellfire Lounge?
Well, they were right next to the alleyway. Yeah, I saw Ali in the alley with his Teddy.
Did you hear Mr. Uchida say anything?
Yeah, Ali looked at Teddy and he said, well, meet me here and don't make it too messy. I've said very similar things to my husband before, but never in the alleyway.
Did you hear Mr. Mothersbaugh say anything?
Yeah, Teddy said, well, he waited for Ali to walk away and then he made this call. He said, Alfred, get my suit.
Now, just a moment ago, you told us that Ali Uchida told Teddy Mothersbaugh to meet him on the street. Did you ever see Teddy Mothersbaugh back in that alley?
No, actually, I never saw Teddy Mothersbaugh walk back to that alley.
What about anybody else? Did you see anybody else walk into that alley?
Yeah, that's when I saw the serpent.
What'd you do when you saw the serpent?
Well, it was kind of awkward because he was wearing his serpent costume and I was wearing my serpent costume. And it was kind of like, you know, if you go to a party and a girl is wearing the same dress as you, so then you have to push her dress into a bowl of shrimp calamari. Ladies, we've all.
What did the serpent do when you saw them in that shirt?
When I saw the serpent, he ran into that alley. Wait, the one that Teddy and Ali were talking about earlier.
Well, what did you do when you saw the serpent running into that alley?
Well, I tried to follow him, you know, I wanted to get maybe like an autograph, but he's a little faster in the leather than I am, so I stepped over my tips and I knocked it all over the place.
You said you knocked your tips all over the place. Did you by any chance hear anything coming from that alley?
Well, yeah, while I was picking up my tips, I heard all this like thumps and all this like thumping noise, and I was getting a little bit of FOMO, like what's going on? And then 10 minutes passed and the thumping kind of stopped.
After those 10 minutes passed, what did you do?
Well, I went into the alley and I missed the body. That's when I saw Ali Uchida and AJ Maloney and they were on the ground.
And you told us you're in that alley with Ali Uchida and AJ Maloney on the ground. Might be a weird question, ma'am, but did you take anything from the alley?
Of course, you always have to take a souvenir. It's one thing they tell you. And well, I saw a mask. It looks just like the mask that Seven is there.
Would you recognize a photo of that mask if I were to show it to you?
Yeah.
Could you flip to exhibit 4 in that binder?
Oh, someone did it for me.
Can you identify what that is?
Yeah, this is that mask I found in the alley. That looks just like that mask that I saw the Seven wearing that day.
So you just told us that you picked up that mask. Do you still have that mask with you today?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Where is it?
Well, at first I tried to sell it on eBay, but then I ended up just giving it away.
Who'd you give the mask away to?
Well, I gave it to Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Why'd you give the mask you saw in the alley to Teddy Mothersbaugh?
I guess a couple days after July 20th, Teddy came up to me and he said, "Hey, Umi, did you find a mask in that alleyway?" And I said, "What alleyway?" And he said, "The alleyway after the Hellfire." And I said, "The alley with alley?" And he said, "The alley with alley." And he said, "You find a mask?" I said, "I found a mask," and I gave it to him.
Thank you. I have nothing for you.
Yes, Your Honor, just a moment, as well.
Of course.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I want to start by talking about whether or not Teddy Mothersbaugh is really the serpent. Because you were talking about 2 people, right? Teddy Mothersbaugh and the serpent.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Let's start with Teddy Mothersbaugh. You know Teddy Mothersbaugh, true?
I do, yeah.
You've talked with him before?
Yeah, a couple of times.
You've interacted with him?
I have.
You could recognize Mr. Mothersbaugh, true?
Yeah, sure, on a good day.
If he was sitting in this courtroom, you'd be able to point him out, right?
Yeah, he's not here.
That's right, he's not here.
No.
You've also seen the serpent a couple of times, true?
I saw him twice, yeah.
Yeah, the first time you saw him, it was before July 20th, true?
That's right. I posted about it on my Instagram reels.
And you're telling us you couldn't identify the serpent because he was wearing a mask, right?
Well, I could identify the serpent because he was wearing a mask.
But you couldn't identify who was behind that mask, true?
No.
I want to give the jury a chance to see that mask. Ma'am, you agree with me, this is the mask. that the serpent was wearing, right?
Yeah, this is that same mask, the one I saw the serpent wearing and that I saw outside on Dueck.
This is the mask that you're claiming hid that person's identity, true?
Yeah, you'd be very surprised how far a little bit of leather can go.
Well, let's talk about how far a little bit of leather can go, because I've actually got a cutout of that mask right here.
I
Now,
can see that.
You'd agree with me, this mask, it doesn't cover my hair, true?
No, it's still looking very nice.
Doesn't cover the lower half of the face.
No, still have to be it.
I'm actually gonna have my colleague, Ms. Jones, join me in the well. Man, you agree with me, Jones and I, we don't look all too similar, do we?
No, I mean, I guess you guys got similar eyes, maybe same nose, cousins?
But there are a lot of differences, true?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, humor me for a second, man, would you mind closing your eyes?
Well, sure,
All right, you can open.
thank you.
Man, you agree with me, Ms. Jones and I, we still look pretty different, right?
Yeah, but you got the mask in common now too.
Right, we've got the mask in common, you can tell we're two different people.
Yeah,
You can tell who's who, true?
yeah, maybe not in a dark alley from far away, but for sure right now.
You just said a dark alley from far away. Man, isn't it true, you've actually seen the serpent without the mask?
Well, not sure.
You're not sure, man, July 20th, you're outside the Hellfire Club, true?
Yeah, like I said.
And like you said, you went to go into that alley,
Yeah, just like that.
just like that, and you see the serpent right in front of you, true?
I saw the serpent running away, yeah.
You saw the serpent run right in front of your face, yes or no?
Yeah, away, yeah.
Right in front of your face, ma'am, and he wasn't wearing a mask.
That's right, yeah.
He was just a few feet in front of you and he wasn't wearing a mask. I got that all right?
Yeah, it was like in this like dark alleyway and he was running away from me. Yeah, exactly.
Drag me back to my question. Few feet in front of your face, no mask.
Yeah.
And so, man, when you saw when you saw the serpent, you didn't think, oh, that's Teddy Mother's body.
No, I thought serpent is a few feet away from me, not wearing a mask, running away.
You didn't think, oh, they've got the same hair as Teddy Mother's. True?
No, I didn't really pay that much attention to Teddy Mother's last. Yeah, it was not as nice as yours.
Thank you, ma'am. You agree with me. You said you could identify Teddy Mother's body. Sitting there today, you can't testify that the person you saw in that alley and Teddy Mother's have a single shared characteristic. True?
No, I couldn't tell you if they were cousins like you and Miss Jones.
Then let's talk about why you're testifying. Because you'd agree with me. You actually hate Teddy Mother's.
Yeah, I think he's kind of a drip sometimes, yeah.
Well, the quote Sarte, you'd agree with me that sometimes hell is other people. True?
I think it's pronounced Southwood. I went to college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Apologies, man. Well, the other people that make your life hell, that's Ali Uchida and Teddy Mother's.
yeah, they're kind of like, this like annoying kind of couple, you know, when they're always around. He's like her like silent protector.
You say annoying, you hate Teddy Mothersbaugh because you think he got you fired.
Yeah,
You hate Teddy Mothersbaugh because you think he's the reason you can't afford heat anymore.
I think he's the reason I'm not making as many tips anymore, so I guess, yeah.
And because of that, you can't pay for heat as much.
Exactly, and my daughter, she's always asking me for things like, she wants this like labubu. I can't pay for a labubu and the heat.
So that's a yes, man. You hate Teddy Mothersbaugh because you can't afford heat anymore and you blame him.
Yeah, sure.
Man, you hate Teddy Mothersbaugh so much that you're hoping your testimony today puts him in jail.
Well, he still owes my daughter a labubu, so I'm not sure about that.
Man, I'm gonna need an answer. You hate Teddy Mothersbaugh so much that you're hoping your testimony puts him in jail.
No,
It's not your testimony, you're hoping your testimony puts him in jail.
no, I think it would be cool if I put someone in jail with my testimony, but I have no strong preferences about who it is.
So you want someone that ends in jail because of your testimony today, man?
Guess that would be pretty exciting, yeah.
Thank you. Nothing further this time, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
There's no redirect. My name is Starwish Town, yes.
Okay, bye everybody.
Yes, Your Honor, the defense called Nova Stone, I believe he's just coming from, work.
Sorry. So it's
Right up there, right up there.
sorry. Oh, sorry. I swear and affirm to
tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and all that. You good? You stop?
We're okay, you can have a seat. Sir, could you introduce yourself to the members of the jury?
I'm sorry I was late. My name is Nova Stone. Forgive my attire. I just came from work and right after this.
What do you do for a living?
I work for the prosecutor's office. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a math guy. I do kids' birthday parties, right? I go and I sing a little song, I do a little dance, and then I ask for a $15 Venmo to take a picture.
Well, how did you get into that line of work?
Well, believe it or not, I got a degree. I got my BFA, wanted to be an actor. Turns out, being an artist is hard. A lot of my friends from school ended up driving DoorDash. I was looking for roles. I got cast in a children's theater production of Winnie the Pooh. I was Pooh. And after that, I got typecast. Industry's rough. Everyone was trying to dress me up in felt costumes, but I'm trying to break out, right? Now I'm doing Eeyore. I'm doing Tigger. And I charge extra for Moana.
Well, sir, do you know why you were called into court today?
Yeah, I was at the club last year when that bouncer got in that fight.
Why are you in the Hellfire Lounge on July 20th?
I love that place. I'll be honest, you can only listen to Let It Go on repeat so many times before you gotta let out some steam, right? So I like to go and I get some drinks, I like to dance. I don't usually dress like this, but I'm not afraid of a theme night.
Well, how did the night of July 20th start out?
Well, when I got there, I was waiting in the line to go in. I was there and I saw my friend, Allie. So I was waving at her. I was like, hey boy, hey! And he got in the line behind me. Then I looked across the street, I saw his boyfriend.
And who is Mr. Achita's boyfriend?
I think Teddy Mother's boy.
Did you talk to Mr. Mothersbaugh that night?
Oh yeah. Teddy came over, he crossed the street, and we started chit-chatting. I was opening up a pack of smokes. He was like, can I have one? I was like, no. And we were talking, and he asked me to do him a solid. And I was like, no, I don't do solids anymore for the last time. He was like, no, do me a favor. I was like, sure. And he says, when you go inside, do me a favor, keep an eye on Allie.
What did you do when you got inside that car?
I took my eye off Allie. I went to the bar, got my usual, a whiskey sour, then 2 more whiskey sours. And and then the music started.
What happened after those drinks?
Well, then I went to the dance floor, of course, and it was so refreshing to hear non-kids bop versions of songs, They use all that auto-tune, they jack it. Oh my God. So sorry. Sorry. Bodies, princesses, cartoons, and costumes, this is Nova speaking. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, sorry, can I call you back? Can I call you back? Okay, all right, thank you so much, all right, kisses, goodbye. Customers. So, sorry, what was the question?
That's okay. You were telling us what was happening in the club now.
Oh, right. So I'm on the dance floor, get my boogie on, and when my girls show up, and so we do our little ritual, right? We go back to the bar, and we're doing a 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, floor, and then we go back to the dance floor.
Well, did you notice anything unusual in the Hellfire Lounge that night?
Oh yeah, I remember I was watching the bartender, and she was really flirting with this guy with 6 fingers. I mean, that was weird, but you like what you like.
What about anything specifically about AJ Malone?
Oh, right. I remember I was dancing and I heard this big commotion, right? So I turn around to see what's going on. And I see the bouncer, he's running through the hall, and he's yelling at someone. So I sort of follow his gaze. I follow his gaze across the room, and I see he's yelling at Allie. And I'm drinking my vodka soda, and I'm like, well, I gotta see this. And so I start down again.
Well, did you see what they did next?
No, I'm drinking my drink. And this bozo knocks into me. I spilled it all over myself, and I gotta be honest, I was pretty upset. You know, the drinks at Hellfire, they're not cheap. I could probably buy like 5 lotto tickets for the price of 1 drink, so yeah, I was upset.
Well, what happened after you got that drink spilled on you?
I'll be honest, I lost my temper a little bit, bad Nova, but yeah, they had to escort me out.
Well, what did you see when you got outside?
I remember when I got outside, the first thing I saw was Teddy. Yeah, he was standing across the street, under the street light, exactly where I saw him before.
Did you talk to Mr. Mothersbaugh again?
Oh, I tried to. Yeah, I went across the street to go talk to him. But before I could, this guy just comes whoosh, just booking it out of the alleyway behind Hellfire.
Could you tell us who that person was?
I don't know. What I can tell you is he was dressed as the Serpent.
Who's the serpent?
Serpent. He's this local vigilante, right? Dresses up in a costume, tries to stop crime. I don't know, the whole thing's a little Mickey Mouse to me, but who am I to judge for a bad costume, right?
Sir, I want to make it clear for the members of the jury. That night you saw Teddy Mothersbaugh and the serpent both at the same time.
That's what I saw. 2 people, same time.
Thank you. None further this time, Your Honor.
Ross?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed? Sir, I want to start off by talking about if you actually know what you're talking about. Because you prepared an affidavit for today's case, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you just told us on direct examination, you claim you saw Teddy Mothersbaugh and the serpent at the same time.
That's right. It was Teddy on one side, some dude dressed as the serpent comes running past.
So I want to make sure we get the timing clear because you didn't write your affidavit the day after you claimed that you saw that, did you?
No,
Not a week after?
uh-uh.
Not a month after?
No, I don't think so, no.
Can you tell us when?
Yeah, it was a few months later.
Oh, sir, does a couple weeks ago sound right to you?
Yeah, that's right.
Sir, June 25th of 2025, that's when you wrote your affidavit, right?
That's right. Yeah, you called me into your office, you gave me one of those LaCroix, and I sat down, I type, and then you got it.
Exactly, so just to be clear, that's almost a year after you claim you saw Teddy Mothersbaugh and the serpent at the same time.
It's 2025, yeah.
So-
Yeah, about a year.
Let's talk about the state of mind you were in a year ago when you claim you saw what you saw because, like you told us in direct examination, you had some drinks that night.
I did.
I'm looking for a number here. How many drinks have you had?
Whiskey sound. Probably like 8 before I left. Sounds about right.
That's right, you had 8 drinks that night.
Yeah,
Right.
I tried to get 9, but the proposal would knock me over.
We'll get to that in a moment, but I want to make sure we get the timeline of when you had those 8 drinks clear.
All right.
Because, sir, within an hour and a half, you consumed 8 alcoholic drinks.
That's right.
And like you just told us, you tried to get a night.
I did. Yeah.
You said on direct examination some bozo knocked into you.
Oh my God, yeah, this jerk in a halter top comes swinging around, he's dancing like there's nobody watching. I was watching, I was standing right there.
Well, hold on, you don't remember exactly how that fight started, right?
Not exactly, no.
But you remember that you got kicked out of the club.
Yeah, that was kind of ugly.
After you got kicked out of the club, you went to the ER, right?
Right, yeah, I thought I might have a concussion.
Exactly. You thought that you might have had a concussion. When you got to the ER, your head was buzzing, right?
Well, yeah, that's right.
And the doctors at the ER said that they should probably check you out.
That's what they said.
Sir, just so I have everything clear. And this happened a year ago. You had 8 drinks that night and you thought you had a concussion, but you're expecting the members of the jury to believe that you actually saw the serpent and Teddy Mothersbaugh at the same time?
Objection on the compound.
I think she just repeated everything you just said as that lead up, so I'm going to overrule.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need me to ask the question again?
Yeah,
Sir, I just want to make sure we have everything clear.
okay,
This incident happened almost a year ago.
correct.
You had 8 drinks that night.
Yes,
You thought you had a concussion that night.
I thought I did. Luckily I didn't, your noggin's intact.
So that's a yes, you thought you had a concussion.
I thought I did.
And you're still expecting the members of the jury to believe that your claim that Teddy Mothersbaugh and the serpent they were there at the same time, that really happened?
I mean, yeah, that's what I saw.
All right, well, I want to talk about why you might be asking the jury to believe that story, because to this day, you're still banned from that club, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I can't go back to Help By anymore.
You blame Emerson Rajan for that, right?
Right.
Sir, you understand that today you're testifying against Emerson Rajan, right?
Objection or lack of foundation?
Yeah, can you explain your objection?
Yes, Your Honor, today's case isn't Emerson Rajan v. Teddy Mothersbaugh, it's the estate of AJ Maloney v. Teddy Mothersbaugh. There's no foundation for how we'd be testifying against Emerson Rajan.
Your response, you guys stipulated that Emerson Rajan is the party representative, representing AJ Malone's estate.
I see. So is your objection to whether or not he knows who the,
Yes, Your Honor, additionally to the fact that he's testifying against Emerson Rajan, we still claim that even though he might be the one who's initiating the lawsuit, it's not he's testifying against Emerson Rajan. It only he'd be testifying against the estate of AJ Maloney, they're not synonymous, and there's no foundation as to how this.
A response?
sure,
Your Honor, this cross-examination, the witness can say whether or not that's true or not, or whether they're not sure.
I think there's foundation, the question about whether or not it's against Emerson Rajan is fine, whether or not he knows that Emerson Rajan is the one initiating this, I think, we'll let him answer. I think you might need to place the foundation.
Sir, I want to make.
Sorry.
So when you used to go to the club, you went there 4 to 5 nights minimum, right?
Oh, yeah. When you work hard, you play harder.
You consider the club your second home,
I like to think so, yeah.
maybe even your first.
Yeah, sure.
Being banned from the place that you call home, that's gotta upset you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I even left my doormat there.
Is sitting here today, you are still upset with Emerson Rajan, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to go back. Those DJs knew my favorite songs, the bartenders knew my favorite drinks. It was a fun place.
So that's a yes, you're still upset with Emerson Rajan.
Well, yeah, no, it was a bummer when I got banned. That's true.
Sir, I want to be clear, you're testifying for the defense today, but they didn't subpoena you, did they?
What?
They didn't, you're testifying voluntarily, you took off your Elmo shift to come testify voluntarily, right?
No. I worked the shift, and then I volunteered to testify.
So that's a yes, you're voluntarily testifying for the defense, right?
That's right.
So I want to walk through an interaction you had with Teddy Mothersbaugh at the hospital. Because when you saw him at the hospital, you thought he looked pretty beaten up.
Yeah, I remember he had this shiner, black eye on his face.
And that's right, he had a black eye, right?
That's right.
Scratches on his face,
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
scratches on his jawline.
Yeah, on his face, right.
During this interaction, Mr. Mothersbaugh said to you, I just wanted to protect Allie. Isn't that what he said?
Right, Allie, his boyfriend, ended up in the hospital. He said he wished he could have protected him.
That's right, and then he said, I don't know if I did it.
Right, that's what he said.
Thank you. Nothing.
Excuse me.
Redirect, Your Honor.
Amen.
Hello again, sir.
Hi, Mr. Lynch.
You were asked about some of the drinks you consumed that night. I wanna ask, is your memory at all foggy from that night?
No, I mean, that night wasn't unusual for me.
Do you think those drinks impacted your memory of what you saw?
No, I don't think so. I was pretty shocked that night.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
So you just testified that your memory is pretty good, that's it, right?
Right.
But isn't it true you can't remember how the fight that you got into went down?
No, I remember Kung Fu fighting was playing. I was doing some chops and then some moves.
Hold on,
and then
sir.
off the top.
I was asking you whether or not you remember.
Right.
Is it your sworn testimony today that you remember what happened during the fight that you got into that night?
No, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember all the details.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Here, you may excuse now.
Alright, are excused.
Thank you. Good. Go. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And with that, Your Honor, the defense rests.
Okay, so maybe I'm right about this. We're gonna take a second to fill out the witnesses page on the form, and then you should complete the ballot, and then give me just like a thumbs up when it's full. Okay, great. Should Elmo come back for some?
Yes.
Comments? Okay. Okay.